everybody, it's Ziz here. Welcome to my top 6 games for 2016. That's right, these are the games that I am most looking forward to. We got MMOs, we got shooters, we got games that are free to play, we got games on tablets, we got expansions and Kickstarters. There's so much stuff that I can't wait to play next year. Now I'm going to run over each of these games from 6 all the way up to my number 1, letting you know why I'm excited for each game and what awesome stuff they're going to bring to the table. So let's go ahead and jump right in with the first one. Number 6. Starting off the list at number 6 is Camelot Unchained, made by Mark Jacobs. This is the same guy who made Dark Age of Camelot, that old game that had 3 realms and started the massive realm versus realm battles. Dark Age of Camelot is the game that started that, and Camelot Unchained is founded on the same idea. 3 realms, PvP. That was the reason why I bought in the Kickstarter. The next thing that really got me interested in this was the fact that it has massive battles. Massive, that's what she said. There are gonna be so many people. You're used to other MMOs that have maybe 5-on-5. Maybe they get really crazy and there's like 50 people. Camelot Unchained is gonna have the largest scale medieval warfare we have seen. They are making the engine from the ground up, trying to have this with more people. 500-600 battles with trebuchets and fireballs, and 10 times more than you've ever seen in any other game. And you're gonna be in the middle of that going, what the heck just happened? Next up, in Camelot Unchained, it's a free form building. You can build a castle any shape you want. A pyramid, a square, giant wall, tower on this side, double layer thick. Whatever you can think of, you can build in the game. This is something that you haven't seen, which is really going to lend itself to creativity. You're defending your keep while the attackers are running through this maze like a rat looking for the cheese. It's PvP on a whole different scale. It's going to be amazing. That also lends itself to being crafter driven, a game that's finally run and maintained by the crafters. We don't want drops from random, monsters. Let me get it from a craft. Real interaction, real economy, items, the weapons, those are all gonna come from crafters. You like to play the economy game, you like to go out there and make a name for yourself, you wanna make the best armor there is in the world. All this stuff is crafter driven. That's so much more exciting than, hey, I killed the boss and he dropped the cool sword I want. And last but not least, you can create your own skills. They're giving you components. They're saying you can make whatever type of skill you want. A ball of ice that shoots like a meteor, burnt conal, poison breath. There's all these different pieces that you can put together to make the abilities that you want. I'm sick and tired of being locked into classes that I don't want. I don't want to be stuck with these same 4 abilities that everybody else has. You can make your character how you want to make them, with the skills that you want, being what you want to be. You're going to be able to create the character you want. It's going to be focused around crafting. There's freeform building with these massive battles, all built upon and made by Mark Jacobs, who made one of the best PvP games ever. And that's why Camelot Unchained is on my list for top 6. Let's take a look at the next one. Number 5. Next up is Albion Online, and one of the coolest features about this game is the fact that it is cross-platform. PC, Mac, Linux, Android, iOS device. They're all together in the same world. So you can be at home playing on your computer, you can do it while you're at work, drop a log while you're chopping logs. All the characters in the same world, all these different devices. And to make it even better, the game is going to be free to play. There's no monthly subscription. You don't even have to buy a box. We don't know if it's going to be, pay to win. I sure hope it's not. But the fact that you can jump in, you can play this game on any device you want, totally free to play, that's awesome. Albion Online, you have to craft everything you need. Either do it by yourself or have people in-game, friends, or on the market house. You have to go to the town you want to put your stuff up for sale, to the town where you store all your stuff in your bank, and if you want to transport it, you need to put all those goods and need to go place to place. So you go to one town and you spend 1,000 gold on a sword, maybe the next town over it's only 50. If it's a player-driven economy, me, there's real value for me killing you and taking your stuff, which also lends itself to the fact that it's a free-for-all sandbox. And you're gonna spend time leveling up all of your abilities, relearning the skills you want to use if you want to switch to a bow or to a two-handed sword, because it's free-for-all. People will run in and steal your materials, the tree you're trying to cut down, cutting down, you know, logs and getting all this wood and making lumber. The sandbox, the elements, it's like the Wild West out there. Which brings us to our last point. The game is hardcore. And when you get to those higher tiers, you're doing it in PvP zone. You may not be able to handle it when you die and lose the last 5 hours of what you've been working for. Items matter. Death matters. Your decisions make a difference in the game. This is very interesting. Free to play on your tablet, and yet it's going to be hardcore with death penalties. Now, let's take a look at the next game on our list. Number 4.
As the world teetered on the brink of anarchy, a new hope arose. An elite international task force charged with ending the war and restoring liberty to all nations. Overwatch.
Coming in at number 4 is Overwatch. I would actually say it's an evolution of first-person shooters in general. I think other first-person shooters are fun. It's the same old, same old. Overwatch is an evolution of all that. I'm still first-person. I still can use a gun, but it's got all these mechanics, escort payloads, multiple different kind of classes, different roles you can fill. That's why I'm super excited for Overwatch in 2016. It takes shooter games to the next level. Not only that, it actually makes teamwork a thing in a shooter. I know there is teamwork in high-level competitive shooting games, but in general, most people jump into a game like Call of Duty. You don't worry about what your team is doing. You're just running around trying to shoot people. The game doesn't naturally bring you together. All this fun cooperative stuff where you're like, yay, we actually did it together, go team. In Overwatch, the game forces you to do that because of the objectives and the way that the classes, your heroes, work together. If you're playing a guy like Reinhardt who puts up this big shield, you are automatically helping your teammates who stand behind you and get to shoot through your shield. It brings the game together. Instead of feeling like I'm a solo player in the middle of all these other shooters, I'm part of a team working towards a common goal. Now, we've been talking about the different sort of roles that you can have in Overwatch. You really get to define how you want to play the game. You can play a guy like Reinhardt. He's this big tanky character who puts up this giant shield and blocks all this damage. Defensive people who can put down turrets. There's also snipers who can stand in the back or even turn into a turret themselves. There's other support people who can, you know, heal other people and put shields on people. All this stuff that you don't find in other shooter games. It really lets you define how you want to play the game. And one of the best parts about it is that it looks and performs great. I want everybody I know to be able to play the game. If you can't get in the game and actually play, that's terrible. When I'm in there, I want it to work great. And I think that's one of the understated things in games, is when it works well and it's smooth and fluid. That's amazing. It looks like you're playing a Pixar movie. Sometimes you'll be running through levels and you look around and be like, this looks great. It's fun to be in. It's got vibrant colors. It performs great. It looks great. It's a joy to play. Bottom line, that's what it's all about. This game is just simply fun to play. You can say it's not real FPS. I don't care what you call it. It is fun. I want to keep playing it. I enjoy it while I'm playing it. It's something you can hop in with your friends in the first couple minutes you're in the match. There's all this gameplay in this game that I feel like you don't get in other games. Just simply, it's fun. It's fun to play. It's super exciting. I love playing over and over and over again, and this is going to be one of the biggest games in 2016. I promise you that. Let's take a look at what's next.
Number 3.
Next up is Crowfall, and if you've been watching my channel, you know this is a game I'm really excited for. This is the first MMO that you can actually win. J. Todd Coleman, he made Shadowbane. One of the problems they had was there was no end like this round robin thing where it has no meaning. Or you have another problem where one side, one guild, one group of people get so strong where they just dominate everything. How do you fix that problem? How do you win an MMO? The solution for Crowfall are campaigns. These are like giant servers, like game worlds, but they end, they come to a conclusion. One guild, one group of people are gonna win the campaign. The world is like destroyed, but your character gets to go to a new world. That gives you so much motivation to defend your stuff, to try to capture it, to try to win that campaign, win the MMO, get the bragging rights. To go along with that are the different game modes that Crowfall is gonna have. Totally free for all, where you can kill anybody. Everybody just fights everybody, brawl to the death. It's just gonna be mayhem. And on the other end of the spectrum, you have a three-way war where everybody's separated into three separate factions. This automatically gives you some friends, you know, some group mates, people that you can't kill, and so you're naturally gonna party with. Between that, you have it split into 12 different factions. Those are the gods of the Crowfall universe. And then lastly, there's also split into guilds. So this gives everybody an opportunity to play the type of game they want to play. And each one of these, they can iterate on, able to update it and have an evolution of the campaigns throughout the life cycle. They're gonna use voxels in Crowfall. These are the things where you can blow up the world, the ground, the trees, the terrain, walls, and they break into little pieces. And the reason it's so exciting, most games you're trying to, let's say you're gonna siege a castle. Everybody attacks one part of a castle wall. The same little section of the wall breaks every single time, and that gets really boring. With voxels, you can do whatever you want. Blow up the bottom of the tower and the tower can fall, tunnel underneath the wall. I can go through a little hole in the door. Right? There's so many options that voxels open up and actually make it feel like a more living, breathing world. Voxels, if they work, cross your fingers, are going to be amazing. The next thing I'm excited for is the action combat system. This combat system includes things like, you know, physically blocking your enemy, friendly fire, pull people off of walls with real physics. They're already working on it now. I always thought that combat was the most important part of the game. They're putting it in right now. They're already doing tests to figure out what they need to do to make combat amazing. It's their #1 priority. They're trying to make it work. And lastly is character progression. They're going with a passive training system, which gives you the freedom to go do whatever you want. If you're a scout and you're not actively participating in the fight, usually games penalize you for doing that. And in Crowfall, it doesn't do that, which is great. What if you want to go on vacation? What if you're sick? What if you have a life and you don't get to play 18 hours a day? Guess what? The game doesn't penalize you for that. So when you hop in the game, you're on the same even footing as the other person. It's a lot of stuff that we haven't seen in an MMO before. I think it sounds really, really great, which is why this is on my list for 2016. Made it to the top 2. Let's see what's next.
Number 2.
That's right, World of Warcraft Legion. This is an oldie but a goodie, and how can you not be excited for the new expansion for World of Warcraft? And first and foremost, everybody's got to hop in and make a Demon Hunter. We got a new hero class. He's going to start at level 98. 2 glaive weapons. You get a double jump in the air. You get a glide. Just looks great. You can be a DPS or you can be a leather-wearing tank. It's going to be ridiculous. There's going to be 5,000 Demon Hunters. Day #1 in every single zone you go to. But not only the Demon Hunter, that's right, every single class is getting some major rework. They've started to release information, stuff like the Paladins who can hop on their horse in combat and charge around for a few seconds. Priests who go like have this new mechanic of insanity and they go crazy, but they're like doing more and more damage. These class changes for Legion, they're really shaking things up and they're trying to make every class feel different. You may have been playing for 10 years, it's gonna feel new and it's gonna feel fresh. That is something to get excited about. They're also revamping the way PvP works as far as progression and talent. Well, they're changing it now to where it's like ability-based system like you see with your class abilities, right? You have these 3 different rows and you get to pick what you want. And so your trinket is actually the very first ability you get right away just by doing some regular PvP. Evens the playing field, can use the trinket or one of the 2 other options that are there. I think it's going to make it more streamlined, it's going to make it more balanced, it's going to make it easier easier to get into, but it's still going to reward you the more you play by giving you more options. One of the big things that was in Warlords of Draenor were your garrisons, which the problem was by the end of the expansion now, everybody just sits in their garrison and the world kind of got empty, and now they're just kind of a daily quest hub, which is kind of boring. They're revamping it to order halls and followers, where you get to go for your order, your class. All the paladins get one place they go to, and the warriors get to go to another one. With the hunter, I think an eagle comes down, picks you up, and takes you up to this hunting lodge. There's tons of people there, and you feel like you're part of a massively multiplayer game, like the auction house, right? That's what order halls are going to be. Followers that are going to be able to do missions with you and stuff. It's part of your storyline. And last but not least are artifact weapons, and how freaking cool are these things you can get for every single class and every spec. Quest chain that you can do that culminates in this like really awesome event in game, and then you get your artifact weapon. Paladins get Ashbringer, enhancement shamans are gonna get Doomhammer. They look amazing, which we all know how cool you look is the most important. You can change the way they look. They can upgrade over time. They can have different colors and different effects. They also have their own progression system. Eventually, you're going to have everything in your artifact tree, so it's not like you have to pick one or the other, but you get to pick which one you want first, and you get to progress it through the whole expansion and look awesome while you're doing it. I can't wait to use some of these amazing weapons and look totally badass. Now that's number 2 for Legion. That brings us to the last entry on our list.
Number 1.
For if there's one thing the Vandal has taught us, it's that without victory, there can be no survival.
This game is gonna be amazing. Star Citizen is going to be the greatest game you've ever played. There's a couple of different parts to Star Citizen. Squadron 42 is a single player campaign which is associated with the persistent universe, and I think that we're going to see in 2016. This game is all about what I call universal immersion, where you have an entire universe where you can go out and you can explore and you can do just about anything you want to do. You can get in a spaceship, you'll fly out, you see an asteroid, land on the asteroid, open your cockpit, you can get out, you can walk around the asteroid, you can go to a space station, go in there in a zero-G environment, all this stuff that you haven't been able to do in any other sort of space game. And to go along with that is how amazingly gorgeous the graphics are. Oh my gosh, everything about the game. The ships look amazing, the combat, the explosions, the planets, the cities, the bar that you can go in and hang out in, and they got TVs on the wall. Some people say, oh, I don't care about graphics. Well, when you get in game and you're like, you see the sun rising over a planet, and then the moon setting, and you're sitting on a space station and ships are flying by and the afterburners. It looks unbelievable. And in Star Citizen, there are really unrivaled opportunities. You can do just about anything you want to do. Get a Cutlass Red, but it's made for rescue missions, like an ambulance of space, and maybe you're flying around and people give you a distress call. You gotta fly out there, you can get to help them and patch them up. Maybe you want to get the Freelancer mid-sized cargo ship. You load it up with this really precious cargo, sell all your goods for a huge profit, finance your racing, buy a racing ship, and now on the weekends you go out and you race people. Or maybe you want to be the pirate. You kill them and you take their stuff and you sell it yourself. You steal their ship and sell their ship on the black market. Maybe you want to be a bounty hunter and you're going around and you're killing those pirates, capture them, and you take them back to another planet and you get to collect the bounty on that. You can get a mining ship and go out and mine and get the resources. A salvaging ship where you go find battles that happened in space and you collect the parts of the ships. Unbelievable. I don't think there's any game that you could play in this gorgeous, huge universe where you can do just about anything you could imagine. Be solo, or you can do it on multi-crew ships. You can have this giant ship and someone's piloting it, and you're running through the ship and you're running through these corridors, and you come to the wall where it's blown out, and until you get it fixed, maybe your ship can't move. Your buddy, he's the captain of the ship, he's up on the ship and he's like yelling at you like, hurry, get it fixed, they're coming around to shoot us. Then boom, you get it fixed and they take off, run over to the other side of the ship, and you hop turret that lifts you up, and now you're in the turret and you're shooting people. Another spaceship that takes off from the ship you're on. Multiplayer on multi-crew ships, or if you want, you can stay in a single player, loan yourself out to other people as a mercenary, guard them while they're mining. There's all sorts of opportunities you have, both solo and multiplayer at any time of day. Last but not least is the dynamic gameplay, and that gives you this dynamic gameplay that is going to be different every single time you log on and go somewhere. You're not going to be able to just buy peanuts from one planet and sell it at another planet. No, because the more you do that, the less those peanuts are going to be worth on that planet, and so the price plummets. And by the time you get there, all that stuff that you bought isn't worth as much, so you take a loss for it. Maybe you get attacked by pirates. Maybe they're waiting for you because it's the third time you've made that run that day. Every single thing you do is going to have an effect on the economy. All works together to be this massive sort of universe that's going to be new and exciting and different. I think this game could be the greatest thing since sliced bread. And that's why it's my number one. And there we have it. That's my top 6 for 2016. We got Camelot Unchained, we got Albion Online, Overwatch, Crowfall, Legion, Star Citizen. I'm curious, what do you think? Let me know, what are your top games coming up next year? I am super excited. I can't wait to play all of them. Hit that subscribe button. Give me a like. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.